There's been much talk of Africanized killer bees in the news over the last decade or so, but this talk has struck unwarranted fears and distortions about honeybees in general. Africanized killer bees is a term given by a failed genetic experiment by humans, particularly the Scottish doctor Warwick Kerr, who tried to breed some African honeybees with European bees in Brazil to pollinate crops. The bees increased their defensive traits and were not able to be controlled the way they wanted, and the bees started migrating into North America. Understand that these so-called killer bees don't go out seeking to sting people as an aggressor. They simply display the natural defensive traits against things and people they perceive as a threat to their colony. But since big commercial beekeepers can't tame and profit from those variety of bees like they want, they're given the pejorative label of Africanized killer bees. Now notice how you don't even hear about Africanized killer bees terrorizing anybody in Africa. So why is Black Africa associated with the alleged killer trait when those bees have been grafted with European bee genetics too? See, it's no coincidence how America's corporate media has done a hell of a job of mischaracterizing Africa's descendants as barbaric, terroristic, or anti-Semitic when we challenge white America's racist systems. Besides, people of European descent are most responsible for the world's massive, genocidal, terroristic killings on Earth, not Africans. That's an indisputable fact, but the corporate media will say it's racist and anti-Semitic and try to make you apologize for citing these historical facts. So, shouldn't we call them Europeanized killer bees based on this killer trait? It's not too dissimilar how so-called Africanized bees have been wrongfully mislabeled and ostracized, feared, and hated much the same way as Black people of African descent. Big corporations who can't profit from those bees, along with the media, are largely responsible for the deceptively hateful stigmas attached to those defensive bees, much like they've been toward Black folks, especially those of us who don't capitulate to white world dominance. Another reason for the antipathy toward so-called Africanized bees is its genetic dominance that could overpower the more recessive European honeybee varieties used in America.
Your population is going down. The more black and white get together, the less white you'll see. If you want to die as a race, where there'll be no more white people on the planet, you're on the road to doing that.
Even though the Africanized bees are superior honey producers and pollinators, there remains heavy apprehensions because of their defensive traits. See the correlation? It's just interesting to me how they're called Africanized killer bees when they're genetically comprised of European honeybees too. Again, if history has taught us anything, it's that people of European descent have done more killing to humanity than any other group. Now notice the correlation. African bees, like us, were taken from their African homeland, taken to the Americas where they were experimented on, mixed with European genetics, and expected to work the crops in their fields. Then things got out of their control as the bees started growing in power and influence. So those who control the industry feared that these bees that they can't control might take over. So since it was Europeans who started this experiment, why don't we call them Europeanized killer bees? Look, entomologists, which are insect scientists, are now saying that bees are the most important beings on this earth. It's highly ironic that the very thing that's been feared and demonized actually represent the ultimate salvation for humanity. Go figure. So this Africanized killer bee terminology, something just ain't right about it. I'm Brother Ilia Rashad Muhammad, the revolutionary educator, author, and beekeeper. I guess I'd be considered an Africanized beekeeper. Be sure to stay connected as we learn the principles of nation building. And check out the attached link if you're interested in becoming a beekeeper in your area.